It's spooky season, and around this time of year, I get a roaring sweet tooth for things that are objectively bad for my general health. But I'm not talking about candy this time, I'm talking about horror movies. In particular, very bad horror movies. I love horror. It's a genre that I think gets heavily overlooked by critics, as well as fans for its grisly nature, and as well as its use of tropes. It's gone on to release some of the best films of the past decade, and with some of them even receiving the highest honor even possible. With that being said, for every masterpiece we get what I would call bargain bin bangers. These movies either go straight to streaming or you'll find them most likely in a discount bin in a Dollar General. This is what most people think of when they hear the phrase horror movie. They're tropey, usually put together with like a belly button lint and some string, and usually have some of the worst acting or writing ever.
Garbage day! Huh? No!
But damn it, I'd be lying if I said I did not eat that shit up. Sometimes your body just yearns for the mines, it yearns for the trough of slop, and I'm gonna get it, gosh dang it. And so my journey began with 1989's Dead Dudes in the House. Now, what initially drew me to this film is its fantastic movie poster. We've got 5 absolute lads, dripped to the gills, armed and ready to die in this weird raisin woman's house. It's the year 1948, and the movie jumps right in with a dude already dead in the house. Nothing seems wrong here. Just sipping my milk, grandma enjoying a little trot back and forth. We quickly jump to the present day where 7 teenagers arrive at a decrepit manor recently purchased by our main man, Mark.
It's just to fix it up. Besides, he practically gave it away.
I know everyone at home has a friend or family member who sees a place like this and ultimately adopts that I can fix her mindset. Like, I know you've seen 9 seasons of House Hunters, Rachel, but it's just not gonna happen, I'm sorry. The group ultimately get closer and start noticing some strange things are going on. It's at this point in the movie that we're introduced to Bob. Bob is the best and worst thing about this movie. He has fantastic line delivery. They're just so cutthroat and cartoonish, especially with him having this like New Jersey, New Yorker accent going on. It's fantastic.
I think it's a smart move.
Hey, Steve thinks it's a smart move. Well, if you think it's a smart move, Steve, then we all know it's definitely a bad move.
The downside, or maybe upside to some, is that he's a psychopath. He's kind of a psychopath.
What's it say?
Abigail Leatherby, surviving as one daughter, Anne. May her soul be placed in peaceful hands.
Well, let's clear the garbage out now.
What do you want?
Like most teenage outings, at this point in time when the car needs to be unloaded, people start kind of making up excuses.
Do you have to smoke?
I always smoke a cigarette before a big job. It's a ritual with me.
Well, I think I need my first beer.
Well, we didn't bring any beer anyway.
I have to have it to work. All right?
Don't you know? Bob doesn't work well without his beer now. Before long, Grandma Abigail makes her first appearance downstairs, and the doors and windows are magically glued shut. Reasonably confused, Mark heads upstairs looking for answers, but as you might expect, he doesn't come back down. Jamie, his girlfriend, is obviously pretty frazzled about this, so she goes to look for him. I think you can guess what might have happened to him.
What about my boyfriend?
He's dead.
Okay, well now we know. Jamie understandably scrambles away and ends up running into...
Mark.
That's right, it's me.
Something's off about you, Mark. I can't put my finger on it.
What about my responsibilities, huh? Dearest Snookums?
You're right. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have doubted you. I'm so sorry.
Where are you going, huh? Are you going to the mall? Huh, Jamie? Gonna do a little shopping?
Am I right, fellas? Come on, am I right, fellas? The second half of this movie adopts a pretty formulaic approach for each scene moving forward. One person runs, they hide, they get separated, meet an old friend. one of them dies, rinse and repeat. I even think the director started to realize this because halfway through he introduces these two random teenage characters in Rick and Teenager. Yes, they don't give my guy a name for the entire movie. He's just perpetually Teenager. After some begging, the two of them finally run to the house and run into what I would say is any teenage boy's absolute nightmare, being a half-naked woman. Yo, D, we're running a little short on the runtime. Do you think we can add a little something to give it a little bit more pizzazz, you know? Maybe make the scenes a little longer? Susie, I'm gonna need you to take like 10 minutes, 5 minutes to take off your bra, and then Teenager, when Grandma ultimately comes in, she's gonna throw you against that wall over there, and I just need you to fall real slow for me, all right? You think you can do that? You can do it. All right, let's go. That's right, everybody. Grandma was in the cuck chair the entire time, and Rick is still very much alive.
Rick, you're alive! No, I'm dead.
We cut to a little lore dump detailing how Grandma Abigail kind of got into this situation.
Mrs. Leatherby was attacked in her home by a man who entered through an unlocked front door. The man stabbed her 37 times, 12 times in the neck. Miraculously, Mrs. Leatherby lived.
How? Like how? How are we doing this? Grandma, how are we doing this?
2 days after she was buried in Three Oaks Cemetery, her daughter Anne dug up her grave and buried her in the backyard of their house.
Okay. I love how cheesy some of the props are in this movie. Take a look at this rubber wood mallet that curves around Linda's face in this fight. On another note, I love this scene where the teenager is putting this screwdriver through Abigail Grandma's head, but you can clearly see the screwdriver going behind her head. Now, we met Steve earlier, and he was already pretty funny then, but as soon as he dies, like he gets like this ×4 multiplier like added to each of his jokes, and just hear how he tries to coax these two out of this barricaded door.
Oh, Ronald, just come out. You're breaking up the old gang. Come on, you wussy!
Meanwhile, Bob is busy aura farming downstairs and is just kind of sipping on the beer that Joey finally brought him. And it's at this point in time that, now that he's got his beer in him, he can finally get some work done. Bob then proceeds to give us one of the best WWE performances I've seen in quite some time, complete with this awesome entrance, a fake knockdown, and then having the two heroes come together to deliver the final crushing blow here. It is nothing short of art. Oh, but what was that? What was that? Is that Grandma Abigail? Oh, she's got him by the neck. And down goes the teenager, slam down. After some grade A tussling, Ron finally gives Grandma the axe and passes out for the night. He wakes up, it's a new dawn, a new day, and makes it out alive. Or has he? I really enjoyed Dead Dudes in the House. It overstays its welcome a little bit, but the cheesy dialogue mixed with the amazing WWE choreography really sells it for me. Pretty good. I really enjoyed this one. Up next, I watched 2019's Killer Sofa, and oh boy, that's all I can say, oh boy. Let me just say, the more I rewatched this movie for this video, the more insufferable I felt my day become. But that's not fair of me. Before I show you any of the footage, we gotta take a look at the poster. We did it with the last one, it's only fair we do it with this one. Okay, I can see this sofa being a little scary. Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Wow. Okay, mind you, the sofa chair is so dangerous that they had to chain it up like Tai Lung just to restrain him. His power is he's too powerful. Just like our last movie, this movie starts off pretty hot with this one guy getting his body kind of mutilated. And our cushy little antagonist kind of looks on approvingly. He looks like the Emperor here, look at him. We then cut to our sofa expecting MC, Francesca, and her best friend Maxie, when 2 detectives arrive questioning her about the death of her ex-boyfriend, Frederico Olsen. The movie then takes this moment to introduce a running gag that is strangely crucial to the movie's plot, being that every single man that is meeting Francesca is automatically obsessed with her.
Francesca makes a habit of attracting weirdos.
They're not weirdos. They're just dedicated, obsessed.
It's played for comedic effect, but it's kind of gross. Like even the detective is being really weird here.
I can see why they went crazy.
Brother,
Meanwhile, the sofa makes its way to a furniture store, which happens to be owned by Jack, an ex-rabbi, now an antique store owner, and Maxie's father. He explains that they have the wrong address and proceeds to take a little look at the bloody recliner. Jack then proceeds to get what ultimately made him leave the church in the first place, which is the absolute suck of his life. He busts so hard that he starts seeing visions, drops to the ground, and has a heart attack on the spot. Also, the green screen for the visions here are so good. I think it's safe to say that Jack has never acted in front of a green screen before. We find out that the sofa has been delivered to Francesca, where we find her boyfriend, TJ, lounging about on it. If the running gag is that everyone falls in love with Francesca, then TJ is the exact opposite, that he doesn't give a flying fuck about her.
We can take a shower together.
I'm sorry.
TJ leaves and Maxie keeps Francesca some company. However, as she's leaving, we get our first real scare of the movie. Ugh. Chills. You see that? Chills. Whew. Things are kind of going as you would expect a movie about a killer sofa is going. But it's at this point in the movie that things start getting weirdly horny for no reason. Like, what are we doing here? Oh, wait. He made her breakfast? Never mind. He's the one. The movie then introduces our exposition man, YouTuber Tohunga Makutu, who gives our characters every single piece of information they need on how to handle a haunted couch. Like, even Jack, our supposed rabbi spiritual man, is Googling what to do. Like, in these movies, isn't that like your whole gig? That's like your whole thing. The girls get called into questioning again, and it's at this point where all of the movie's worst traits start coming to light. One being that it repeats itself over and over again, especially in these detective scenes.
But men especially just seem to get very attached to me.
You mean they become obsessed with you?
Yes. I already told you this.
In the meantime, we cut to TJ, who, much like Francesca last night, is getting a little too frisky with the couch. Ah! The man gets backshotted so hard that now he lives with his mom and gets pulled up on, not once, but twice for the run back on a second-story window by a couch. My guy, there's no coming back from that, bro. It's over. Pack it up. Francesca eventually finds out that her sofa is not so sofa anymore and decides to respectively dip out of there. But in the morning, she comes back to get her clothes and some belongings and ultimately runs into the ultimate villain of this movie, which is Ralph.
I told you, I can't marry you, Ralph. I've got a boyfriend.
Maxie told me about TJ. He has weak bones. I have strong bones. It makes strong babies.
Babies.
Man, I really wonder why Francesca doesn't go on a date with this guy. Well, that explains that. As I mentioned earlier, my biggest problem with the movie is its constant exposition dumping. Tohunga is the obvious culprit here, but The last third of this movie, I kid you not, is so egregious. Just let me explain. We're entering the climax of this film, and Jack gives Francesca a call to basically discuss what all is going on. Jack explains to Francesca that the spirits of Gerard and Valerie, this elite poisoning duo from the 1800s, has haunted the living Francesca and Federico in hopes of one day reuniting with one another. This explanation of Jack's visions and what's happening takes 5 whole real-world minutes.
They used the highly toxic petals of Nerium oleander. They were found out and chased by a mob. Gerard was killed, burnt alive.
This is not a movie. This is a PowerPoint presentation. Wait, but how do you know all this? YouTube. Duh. What makes things even worse is that despite all of this information, both of these characters still cannot put 2 and 2 together that Federico was chopped up and is still alive in the couch.
Federico was cut into little pieces.
Yeah, it's a mystery, all right.
This movie can't seriously think I'm in the utmost suspense when 95% of the answer to this mystery is just spelled out to you. Even Jack is talking to her like a child.
Here's our plan. We build 2 Dybbuk boxes. We put the Dybbuks into the boxes. 3, we burn the boxes.
How stupid do you think I am?
Meanwhile, the police have been doing some actual investigation, finding out that Ralph has been creeping on Francesca for quite a bit now, and even bring in the guy who cuts up Federico in the very beginning of the movie, who gives what I would say the most insane reasoning as to why chopping someone up would be okay.
I left him alive, yeah? I sutured him up and I gave him some drugs. I figured the guy would go to hospital.
With what legs? Francesca and the sofa finally face off where it's revealed that... What? Federico's been in the couch the entire time? What? No way! That's crazy! This leads to Francesca getting possessed by Valerie, Detective Gravy getting possessed by the Dybbuk, and the 2 of them walking off into the sunset together, where they lived happily ever after. The end. Thank God. Honestly, it's what these 2 deserve. Good on you, ghosts. Next up, I watched my first Tubi original. The movie opens with a viewer discretion warning, which at first I wasn't very sure why, and then the movie quickly reminded me as to why they put that warning at the front. Adopted is strange in that it has the visual appearance of a Hallmark movie, but has the dialogue of a Darman YouTube video.
I love football. I want to be like Jerry Rice someday. Football is classic and timeless.
The camera will go from being extremely static and uninteresting to trying it very, very hard in these like otherwise mundane scenes of just everyday life.
I think whoever did this had a personal beef with this family because they made sure everybody was dead. Except for one. A kid.
I love how they introduce the son as this kind of boogeyman figure, even though in this scenario, there is absolutely no reason to believe that this kid did any of this. We follow the Reynolds family who, after many years of trying for a child, decide to finally adopt a son. Little do they know that they are adopting a grade A crash out.
I ain't saying shit for something I didn't do.
Watch your mouth.
This isn't fun.
After meeting with their adoption agent and finalizing the papers, I think it's crazy how the son just kind of arrives at their house in like 6 to 7 business days. And the adoption agent tells the Reynolds little to nothing about his background, even though they've been like shopping around for a while. Even Stuart Little got to meet his parents before going home, but no. Dylan has prime shipping, so we'll take him. I love this scene where Dylan asks James about how he met his wife, but it's such a dry ass speech that Dylan just conks out and goes straight to sleep.
Spaghetti. Ravioli.
This movie loves to have its characters announce how they're feeling. It doesn't really leave anything to the imagination, but it really makes me feel like I'm adopting a child.
But what about my hair? I don't like it. It's down and it's giving hot date and it needs to give mother, you know?
I've been waiting for this moment for a year, and I want everything to be perfect. I'm just happy we found the perfect fit for us.
Carrie's neighbor Diane definitely doesn't help with Carrie's stress because she automatically assumes that something is up with this kid, which is valid because he talks like a robot and he has little to no background information available. However, in the middle of this conversation, we get what I would consider the most insane edit I think I've ever seen in a movie.
So it'll be good. You'll get a kid connection.
Okay, enough kid connection. Let me tell you what Floyd did to me last night.
Oh, no. We're not talking about Floyd.
Mel! Mel!
We went from you two talking about the dicking you got last night to a child literally lying in a pool of his own blood.
Hey! What the hell? Ryan, I leave the phone for 20 minutes and you killed him?
Mel, it's just a prank. Relax. I can't believe you got so upset about this. It's not like we used a real gun or anything.
Everyone knows your mom hides it under her bed. Plus, it's not even loaded.
Oh. Dylan's whole act for this movie is that he's this innocent orphan who could do no wrong, but then is faking his own death in a pool of blood and creeping on Mel once she's changing clothes, and then is just out here breaking windows. Side note, I love that the cop just kind of appears out of thin air here and immediately snags these boys. He's like a video game NPC and you just happen to come into his cone of vision.
It was Dylan's idea.
This is what happens when you lie on people.
Dylan is basically a cartoon villain at this point. Like, he's not even trying to hide that he's a menace. It's just these people lack so much social awareness that he just gets away with literally everything. To remedy the tragedy of Dylan losing his best friend, the Reynolds decide to adopt another kid after having no idea what to do with the first one that has been here for only 2 weeks.
I don't know if I'm doing a good job.
Dylan doesn't take too kindly to this and assumes that he's being replaced again. How do I know this? It's because he told me, the audience, himself out loud with the door wide open.
But I'll make them all pay.
Seriously, and James just walked down the hall. I know you hear his ass. He is loud. Fast forward a little bit, and Mel starts doing some digging on Dylan and finds out that he is kind of an incel. A couple hours later, Dylan confirms this by showing up to her house with some of the most outlandish comments I think I've ever heard a 10 to 12-year-old speak.
We made a connection the other day when you hugged me.
Connection? Dylan, you're 10 and I'm 17.
So? I just thought, with Ryan out of the way now, we could hang out. Just you and me.
Guys, I'm going to say something a little controversial here. Women don't have to like you just because you like them. I know I'm brave. I said it. Melissa calls the police and immediately gets all the information she needs and even tries to convince Carrie. Dylan steals a gun from his neighbor's house in broad daylight and then proceeds to smash the glass pane that the gun is behind with his bare hands. He then proceeds to light up Diane and Melissa and marches directly across the mansion suburb in broad daylight to air out his whole family. This is why America gets made fun of, I swear. James and Dylan play a little ring around the rosy while Carrie and Bella and the police all arrive during the chaos. Wait, it's over? Yeah, the movie just kind of ends at this point. I love that it leaves you wondering whether or not Dylan just takes down 6 grown-ass police officers by himself. But with that being said, adoption was fine. It's very dry in its presentation, but you'll get a good kick out of
eventually.
I'd say my final thoughts on adoption is that the American adoption process is probably still scarier than this movie. I finished my seasonal movie marathon with a recent cult classic, The Velocipaster. Spoiler alert, this movie kind of rips. It's a movie that looks like it's from the 1980s, has a poster that looks like it's from the 2000s, but was actually released in 2018. We open on a church service led by our titular hero, Doug Pastor. This opening shot is the hook because it's genuinely shot so well.
May my opponent be like the unrighteous.
Immediately after the sermon, we step into what I can only describe as a 2000s Smosh video. Everything is here. The meek smile, the stumble backwards, the everything going to shit, the VFX, like insert car on fire. I knew I was in for a treat with this one.
So your parents died, Doug. It's what parents do. They die on you.
These two sip on a little blood of Christ, and Father Stewart urges Doug to go and travel the world. And so, Doug drives to the godless land of New Jersey, listening to the most heater montage music I've heard in quite some time. Just listen to this. This shit go crazy. Oh wait, I meant China. I don't know why. I have this feeling that he went to China rather than New Jersey. Suddenly, a mysterious woman is shot by an arrow and falls into the unsuspecting arms of our hero, Doug. It is here, in her dying breaths, that she gives Doug a dinosaur tooth, which gives him his true calling, that he is Poe.
Dragon warrior.
And that God wants him to be a dinosaur man. Doug wakes up back in America and is faced immediately with some casual racism from Father Stewart.
It's no wonder this haunts your dreams. What did that Chinese say? Dragon warrior?
Frazzled by Father Stewart's hatred for the Chinese, Doug stumbles out into the street and bumps into what is ultimately the love interest of the movie. And we learn her name through very, very unconventional means.
I'm lit up right and hot to trap where you want me tonight, Daddy.
Carol, hello.
Oh!
No, Freddie Mermaid here is not the love interest, but God, I wish he was.
Why is my name Frankie Mermaid?
Cause you're swimming in bitches.
Lucky for Carol, this won't be the last time she bumps into Doug, as she heads to the park looking for somebody. I seriously don't know who is at the park at like 2 a.m. besides maybe like a murderer or a robber. There we go. As the robber grabs Carol, Doug enters and performs only the second craziest feat I've seen today by turning into a raptor, but then one-ups himself by taking an entire clip of a pistol magazine to the chest. This movie has genuinely great comedic moments, especially this one scene after the attack in the park, where Doug is more stressed out about the thought of having premarital sex versus the idea that he is a man-eating raptor man.
You're a hooker?
And pre-med law, but people aren't surprised as much by that one.
Also, this fit is amazing. Shout out Velma, Scooby-Doo 2. Love you. Carol tries to convince Doug that he can use his powers for good and that ultimately there are some people that are not worth saving. Doug, so we can have a movie, instantly rejects this and heads to the church to attend confessional, where he meets with the big boss himself.
Hello, my child. How long has it been since your last confession?
Since I last confessed? Oh, Jesus.
I love Frankie Mermaid's reaction here. He's got that Bob-like ability to him where he's simultaneously the biggest piece of shit you've ever met, but is undeniably hilarious.
Listen, Padre. Frankie fucking Mermaid smokes where the fuck he wants because his life is on fire.
Hell yeah, Frank.
What is it that you would like to confess?
Got bosses. They tell me to kill people, so I kill people.
Who was the last that you've slain?
Actually, a couple months ago, this fucking old couple, I blew up their car. Oh my God. Blood, blood everywhere, skin melting, skin boiling. Kinda gave me a hard on, Padre.
Ah, yes, I remember it like it was yesterday. What a gruesome scene.
If we're gonna do this, how?
The way these movies tend to go, I kind of already knew Doug and Carol were going to end up together, but it's this line right here that really cemented that they were the one true pairing of this movie.
Now, I don't know much about God.
I don't know much about dinosaurs.
Cinema. The amount of times I unironically hit that pose during this movie is a little embarrassing. We then meet Master Wei Chan and his army of holy ninjas. Their objective? Convert as many people to Christianity as possible. How may they do this? By getting them hooked on a special blend of cocaine and then taking away the supply, forcing them to turn to the Christian church. It's a foolproof plan. I want to be hooked on God as much as I am hooked on cocaine. Right before we cut away from our villain intro here, I want to take a look at this scene where Wei Chan and his right-hand man Sam share a pit of villainous laughter. What's so good is that you can tell that Wei Chan is legitimately dying of laughter here. It's some real commitment to the bit. This movie can really be described as so many different things. At some points it's horror, at other points it's a comedy. It even dips into like the superhero genre at points. But just when you think it's done, we get Father Stewart's time in Vietnam. And let me just say that Father Stewart has not aged a day. During this sequence, we not only see Father Stewart lose his wartime buddy Ali, but we also get introduced to his lover Adeline, who somehow, some way, has made it to the Vietnam battlefield.
Adeline!
Like, how did she get here? Who let this happen? Who authorized this happening? Several ninja battles later, as well as Father Stewart ultimately being captured and killed, Carol and Doug finally find their way to the ninja's alcove for the final showdown, where it's been revealed that Sam is actually Doug's brother.
Remember me now? Brother!
Yeah, the white guy from earlier with the really funny laugh is way more important to the plot than you may have realized. I love this moment where Sam yells that he refuses to spill Doug's blood with his blade, but Doug has no problem gutting him like an absolute fish. He even smiles after doing it. Like, bro, like, chill. I know you're kind of atheist now, but like, you don't gotta be doing all that. If there's one thing that this movie has taught me from beginning to end, it is that it is up to the Dragon Warrior himself to put an end to the needless violence that is going on in the world. And that's it. Reflecting back after watching these 4 movies back to back to back to back, I really do feel like I've grown. You know, these movies have been neglected for so long that they really don't have a place to call home. Yard sales, dollar store bins, that's not where they belong. They belong here, with us. Nah, I'm good.